The toilet is one of those inventions most people never think about, until it is gone. Imagine waking up in a crowded ancient settlement. No bathroom, no plumbing, no toilet paper, no sewer pipe carrying waste away. Just people, animals, food, water, mud, flies, and human waste. At first, that might sound disgusting, but for ancient humans, it was more than disgusting. It was dangerous. Human waste carries disease. It attracts insects. It contaminates water. It smells. It spreads through hands, soil, and food. And once humans began living close together, waste became a problem that could no longer be ignored. So how did ancient humans invent the toilet? The answer begins before cities. For hunter-gatherers, waste management was simpler. Small groups moved often. If someone needed to relieve themselves, they could walk away from camp. The waste would be left behind, broken down by nature, and the group might move on. This was not perfect, but with small populations and mobile lifestyles, the problem was limited. Distance was the first toilet. Go away from where people sleep. Go away from where food is prepared. Go away from water. That simple rule may be the earliest form of sanitation. It did not require pottery, pipes, or architecture. It required observation. People learned that waste near camp attracted flies, smelled bad, and made areas unpleasant or unsafe. They also learned that water sources had to be protected. Even without understanding germs, ancient humans could notice that dirty places made people sick. The real problem began when humans settled down. Farming changed everything. People built permanent homes. Villages grew. Food was stored. Animals were kept nearby. Families stayed in one place for generations. Now, waste could build up. You could not just leave it behind if you were not leaving. A village with dozens or hundreds of people needed a better solution. So humans began using pits. A pit toilet is one of the simplest sanitation technologies. Dig a hole, use it, cover it with soil, ash, leaves, or other material. When it fills, close it and dig another. This basic idea is ancient and practical. It separates waste from daily living spaces. It reduces smell. It limits contact. It keeps the camp or village cleaner. In many places, this may have been the first real toilet system. Not a porcelain seat, not a flush, a controlled place for waste. That is the key idea. A toilet is not just an object. It is a decision to put waste somewhere specific. Once humans made that decision, sanitation began. As settlements became larger, waste systems became more organized. Some houses had designated toilet areas. Some communities used shared latrines. Some built seats over pits. Some used trenches. Some directed waste into drains. The form changed depending on materials, climate, water access, and social organization. A dry region might use pits or ash. A wet region might use channels or flowing water. A wealthy household might have a private toilet. A poorer household might use a shared space or go outside. Toilets were always shaped by environment and status. One of the most important developments was the drain. Once people built permanent floors and streets, they also had to manage wastewater. Water from washing, cooking, rain, animals, and toilets had to go somewhere. If it stayed near houses, it created mud, smell, insects, and disease. So ancient builders created channels. At first, they may have been simple ditches. Later, they became covered drains made of stone, brick, or clay. The drain changed the toilet from a hole into part of a system. Waste could now be carried away from the home. That was a huge step. Some of the most impressive early sanitation systems appeared in the Indus Valley civilization. Cities like Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa had planned streets, drainage systems, wells, bathing areas, and household sanitation features. Many homes had bathing spaces connected to drains. Some had toilets or latrine areas that carried waste away. This shows that sanitation was not an afterthought. It was built into urban planning. That matters. A city cannot function if everyone simply dumps waste anywhere. The larger the population, the more important sanitation becomes. Ancient Mesopotamia also developed drainage and toilet toilet systems. Some homes used toilets connected to vertical drains or cesspits. Clay pipes and brick channels helped move wastewater. In Egypt, toilets existed in some elite contexts, often as simple seats or stools with containers or sand below. Ordinary people likely used simpler methods. Again, social class mattered. The wealthy could separate themselves from waste more effectively. The poor had fewer options. In the ancient Mediterranean world, sanitation continued to develop. The Greeks and Romans built public latrines, drains, aqueducts, and sewers. Roman public toilets are especially famous. They could have long stone benches with holes where people sat side by side. Water channels helped carry waste away. Some latrines had flowing water beneath the seats. Others had drains connected to larger sewer systems. To a modern person, the lack of privacy might feel shocking, but Roman public latrines were social spaces as well as practical ones. People could sit, talk, and conduct business. The modern idea of a completely private bathroom did not exist everywhere. In many ancient societies, privacy around waste varied widely. Some cultures valued separation and modesty. Others treated public latrines more casually. The toilet was not only a technology, it was also a cultural habit. What counts as clean? What counts as private? Who maintains the latrine? Who has access? Where does waste go? These questions reveal how a society works. Toilets also required cleaning. A latrine without maintenance becomes a hazard. Pits fill, drains clog, smells spread, flies gather. Waste leaks into water, so sanitation created labor. Someone had to dig, carry, clear, repair, flush, cover, or remove waste. This work was often low status, but it was essential. Cities depended on people whose labor history often ignores. The invention of the toilet was also connected to water. Water can clean, but water can also spread contamination. A flush system is useful only if waste is carried away safely. If it flows into drinking water, the problem becomes worse. Ancient engineers had to separate clean water from dirty water as much as possible. Wells, canals, drains, baths, and latrines all had to fit together. Not every ancient city succeeded. Disease remained common. Bad sanitation killed many people. But the attempt to manage waste was still one of civilization's most important achievements. Because sanitation is invisible when it works. You notice it only when it fails. The toilet also changed daily life inside the home. A dedicated waste space meant people did not always need to leave the house, especially at night, during illness, or in bad weather. It improved comfort. It improved safety. It helped protect women, children, elderly people, and sick people who might be vulnerable outside. It made dense living more possible. It also separated human waste from cooking and sleeping areas. That separation is one of the simplest foundations of public health. Ancient people did not need microscopes to understand that waste was dangerous. They could smell it, see flies gather around it, see sickness spread in dirty places. Notice that clean water mattered. Their explanations may have involved bad smells, impurity, spirits, imbalance, or ritual pollution. But the practical effect was similar. Keep waste away, cover it, move it, wash after contact, protect water. Cleanliness often had religious and cultural meanings too. In many ancient societies, bodily waste was associated with impurity. Rules about where to go, how to wash, and what spaces had to remain clean could be practical and symbolic at the same time. A sacred temple needed purity. A home needed cleanliness. A city needed order. Sanitation sat between body, religion, health, and engineering. One of the biggest myths is that ancient people were simply filthy and did not care. That is not true. They cared deeply. They did not have modern plumbing, germ theory, or disinfectants, but they had noses, eyes, memory, and experience. They knew waste created problems. They built solutions with the materials they had: earth, stone, clay, wood, ash, sand, water, brick. Their toilets may look primitive to us, but many were clever responses to real conditions. A pit toilet is simple, but effective when placed correctly. A drain is basic, but powerful. A clay pipe is humble, but revolutionary. A public latrine may seem uncomfortable, but it helps a city organize waste. The toilet changed civilization because it solved a problem created by civilization. The more humans gathered together, the more dangerous waste became. And the more dangerous waste became, the more humans had to innovate. That is a pattern in history. New ways of living create new problems. New problems force new inventions. Farming created villages. Villages created waste buildup. Waste buildup created sanitation. Sanitation helped cities survive. Cities created more complex societies. So the toilet is not a small invention. It is one of the hidden foundations of urban life. Without waste management, cities become sick. Without toilets, dense populations become harder to maintain. Without drainage, streets become dangerous. Without clean water, disease spreads. The toilet helped humans live closer together. And living closer together helped create writing, trade, government, temples, markets, schools, armies, and empires. That does not mean the toilet created civilization by itself, but civilization could not grow very far without dealing with waste. In the end, humans invented the toilet because the body demanded it, and society could not ignore it. Everyone produces waste. Kings, farmers, priests, merchants, children, soldiers, craftspeople. No civilization is above the body. That may be why toilet history is so important. It reminds us that the grand story of humanity is built on ordinary needs: food, water, sleep, warmth, shelter, waste. Before there were palaces, there were pits. Before there were sewers, there was distance. Before there were bathrooms, there was the simple realization that waste must be kept away from life. The toilet changed daily life because it gave humans a way to live with their own biology. Quietly, practically, imperfectly. And without that dirty little invention, the clean parts of civilization would never have lasted.